Well, first off, hello YouTube. I'm going to do my frequently asked questions video because we're still editing the vlog. And I'm sorry, it's a lot of work and I don't want to do it. But don't worry, I will do it. So first question that we get a lot is, how much does cruising cost? So there's a lot of things that go into the cost of the cruise. You have to think about what room you're going to stay in, what cruise line you're going to cruise on, how long you're going to cruise for, where you're going to go, and what port you're going to leave out of. So if you disregard the plane ticket in order to get to the port, cruising has costed us anywhere between about $750 to $1,100 per person for 7 days. We have done nothing less than 7 days. We have cruised on Norwegian and Royal Caribbean. So for that, it just depends. We've used inside staterooms, we've done the balcony, and honestly, the balcony for us, we didn't use the balcony. So we spent a few extra $100 for a balcony we never used. So now we're just like, you know what, to save a couple $100, we're just gonna get an inside stateroom. There's no need for a balcony for us. If you like the balcony, then get the balcony, or whatever. But we just don't think it was worth it. So that's $750 to $1,100, that is just for getting on the cruise. That's it. Now, cruising does include your entertainment, it includes your food. However, there are other things that do cost additional money. So you have to be aware of that as well. However, you can pay for your cruise, get on the ship, and not need to spend anything else. That's completely up to you. Question number 2. What can you bring with you, as in pre-workout, protein, soda, alcohol, whatever? The cruise lines determine what you can and cannot bring with you. Now, majority of them do let you bring wine. I think it's 750 milliliters per person. You'd have to go on the website to look that up because, I don't bring wine, so I don't really know. But they do let you bring it. There's certain rules for that. You are allowed pretty much anything you can get on the plane, you can take with you. So your pre-workout, we brought his whole container of pre-workout, my container of pump, and our hydrate powder, just fine. There's nothing wrong with bringing that. As well as soda or energy drinks. However, again, that depends on the cruise line. Norwegian doesn't let you bring anything at all. Well, it lets you bring the wine, but it won't let you bring soda or energy drinks or anything like that. Now, Royal Caribbean lets you bring 12 cans, whether it's soda or energy drinks. If it's 16 ounces or less, you can bring 12 per stateroom. So that is not per person, that is per stateroom. Number 3. Onboard entertainment. Is it included? Yes, it is. However, there may be a special activity or a special entertainment that does cost money. You do not have to go to that show or do that activity. You do not have to participate. But if you want to, just know there may be one activity that does actually cost money. Almost anything, obviously, having to deal with the casino is going to cost money. Sometimes they have this special prohibition event that costs money. Sometimes they have dinner and a show that costs money. However, 99% of all the entertainment is completely free. But I do recommend having a reservation because sometimes, especially on the bigger ships, It fills up really fast. And if you're in the standby line and everybody gets their reservation and there's no more seats, you don't get to see the show. However, you don't need to worry because majority of the bigger shows, they perform probably about 3 to 4 times throughout the whole entire cruise. So you really don't need to worry too much about that, but it is better to have a reservation. Number 4, do we restrict ourselves or fully enjoy? We fully enjoy everything. Whether it's alcoholic beverages, desserts, the food, everything. We enjoy everything. Because back home, you don't necessarily do that back home. So why not on your vacation just eat whatever you want and do whatever you want? That's the point of a vacation, you know. But have no fear if you're vegan or gluten-free or you want to stick to your diet or whatever. It is still possible to do that. There's a ton of options. There's a ton of gluten-free options, a ton of vegetarian and vegan options. There's a lot of things. So don't worry if you're vegan like that. All you're going to be able to eat is a salad. Like, don't worry about that. There's tons of options. Let's see. Number 5, favorite cruise line and destination. So, like I said, I've only cruised Norwegian and Royal Caribbean. My husband has cruised Norwegian, Royal Caribbean, and Carnival. So, there's things I like about Royal, and there's things I don't like about Royal, and there's things I like about Norwegian, things I don't like about Norwegian. If it really came down to me choosing one, I think I might go with Royal Caribbean. However, it, again, depends on where do you want to sail to. Because sometimes a Norwegian ship may go there, a Royal ship does not. So if you just stick strictly to Royal Caribbean, there may be places you can't go just simply because Royal Caribbean doesn't go there. So you do kind of have to. When I look at cruising, I usually look at Royal Caribbean first, but then if there's a place that I really want to go to that Royal Caribbean doesn't go to, then guess what? I'm going to hop on a different ship so I can go there. I'm not going to be like, oh, Royal doesn't go there, so I'm just not going to do it. So it really just comes down to, do you want a bigger ship? Do you want a smaller ship? Do you care where you're going? Maybe one of the Norwegian ships has some cooler entertainment that this Royal ship doesn't. So there's a lot of things that go into deciding which cruise ship to be on. Again, Royal Caribbean has the biggest cruise ships in the world. So if you really want to be on a very big ship, go Royal. So it really just depends. But I think if I absolutely had to choose one, Royal would probably be the way to go. But I will tell you the one thing that would make me choose a Norwegian ship over a Royal ship if it went to the same destination, if it was the same size, if everything was the same, except for this one thing. Royal Caribbean allows people to smoke on the pool deck. And I hate it. I absolutely hate it. 1, because there's kids running around all over the place. 2, if I'm on the wrong side of the ship, I have to walk through all of these people smoking in order to get to the side of the ship I want to be on. I hate it. I don't think they should be allowed to smoke in an open area like that. Norwegian has a specific room on one of the floors that they're allowed to smoke in. And really, you don't smell it unless you're like right next to the room or they open the door to get in and out of the room. So I like that option so much better because I can't stand the way cigarettes smell. I almost instantly get a headache and, like we all know, secondhand smoke is worse, yada, yada, yada. I just don't think that's good on, Royal Caribbean's end. Oh, favorite destination. So far, I would have to say Bermuda. We went on a Norwegian 7-day cruise and we spent 3 full days in Bermuda. That was the only place I went to, but Bermuda was beautiful. The food was fantastic. The people were so nice and the beach was gorgeous. You know, I definitely, we want to go back, you know, to Bermuda. So I think that's been my favorite so far. Number 6, what happens if you're seasick? I mean, honestly, I don't really know because I haven't gotten seasick yet. And the ship really doesn't move. Like, you don't feel it moving. There may be some times here and there that you do feel it moving. But I mean, if you've been drunk, then like you know what that feels like. Or if you've been tipsy before, you know what that's literally all it feels like, is that you're kind of like, I didn't have any drinks today. Why am I? Oh, the ship is, you know, moving. But so far, I haven't been in anything that has really been bad. But I do know that people ahead of time, they do get those patches or the bracelets or the medication to help them deal with that. If it's really, really bad, there is medical on board that you can always go to, but I don't think you will need it, honestly. Number 7, when do we usually work out? Whenever we have time, really. There's not a set time. Usually what we do is when we get our daily compass thing, is it tells you everything that's going on that day. So I sit there and highlight the things that we would be interested in participating in or going and watching, or you know, whatever it is. And then if we see that there's a gap between activities, then we'll say, all right, we're gonna go to the gym at this time, we'll get some food, and then we'll go to the show or to, you know, whatever it is. However, I definitely do recommend not going to the gym past like 6 o'clock at night, because anytime past 6 is when they have a lot of entertainment on board, a lot of activities. You can participate in, just a lot of really cool things happen more in the evening. And if you don't want to miss all these cool activities, then I would definitely go to the gym, you know, probably before 5 o'clock. Number 8, how do we plan for the weather? I just Google it, honestly. I get the destinations we're going to, and then I look up what the weather's going to be like. Now, you know, 90% of the time in the Caribbean, the weather's really warm. Very warm, and in some places it's very humid. Like Haiti is almost miserable. It's so hot and humid. So really, just pack like you're literally going to a tropical place. But I do recommend that you bring at least 1 sweater, you know, pair of pants or 2, you know, things like that. Because I personally get cold on the ship. When we're sitting there at dinner, it's a little chilly in there, so I make sure I bring my sweater. Or if we're in the theater, they blow AC like right under you. I was like freezing in the theater, and I did not have my sweater with me in the theater. So I do definitely recommend you bring at least something like that. Also, you should keep in mind what port you're leaving out of and what time of year, because we left out of New Jersey in December, and it was freezing. It was freezing when we left New Jersey, and it was freezing when we came back. So just be prepared for that as well. Number 9, how to deal with your fear of the ocean, the boat sinking, going overboard, whatever your fear is. Just go on a cruise. Just do it. When my husband first brought it up, we were boyfriend and girlfriend at the time, and I was deathly afraid to get on that ship. I was like, we're gonna be in a ship out in the middle of the ocean with nothing for hundreds of miles. You don't have no communication with, you know, unless you buy the internet package, no communication with anybody. Like, what if something happens? However, one, 90% of our fears are irrational. 2, the likelihood of the boat sinking or you going overboard or you drowning is very slim. So you just have to do it. And honestly, I'll tell you, after the first cruise, I fell in love with it. I'll be cruising for the rest of my life. I love it. And you don't sit there and think about those things. You know, there's so much to do on the ship, and the fact that the ship makes you feel like you're kind of in a little city, you don't really sit there and start thinking about like, oh my gosh, I'm in the middle of the ocean. Like, just don't worry about it. Just have fun, enjoy yourself, do all the activities, do tons of things. And the moment you catch yourself thinking of something like that, go do something to distract yourself, because you're gonna be just fine. And it's so much fun, trust me. And if for some reason you don't have fun because you're worried the whole entire time, then you have bigger problems. So get that taken care of. Number 10, do you need a passport? No. However, it is more convenient, efficient, it's easier to have a passport. Now, the only cases where it is okay to not have a passport is as long as your cruise leaves and returns to the same port in the United States. However, you do need to carry your birth certificate and other forms of ID. Who wants to carry around their birth certificate? I don't know. But you also have to think of, what if you get stranded in another country? What if we're in Mexico and you don't make it back on the ship? Now you're running around with your birth certificate. It's probably going to take a lot longer for you to get back to America than if you had your passport. Same with if for some reason you're on a cruise that leaves from America but ends in Puerto Rico or ends in Australia, and that's your final destination, you have to have a passport. You can't use your birth certificate. Same with, obviously, if you fly internationally to get on a cruise that starts in Australia and ends in Australia, you need to have a passport. So it's just more beneficial to have a passport. Now, if you're going on a last minute trip, you don't have time to get a passport, and you're leaving and returning to the same port in the US, then by all means, just take your birth certificate and whatever else you need. But you can find that information on their website and enjoy your cruise. But long term, a passport is going to be much better. Number 11, traveling with kids. Now, I don't have any kids. However, see a lot of kids on the ship, and you talk to a lot of people, and you just find things out, So the good thing about if you do have kids is they have like a daycare kind of thing for different age groups. So even if you have a teenager, there's like teenager things they can do, and same with the younger guys, there's things that they do. So the staff takes them in the daytime, so you go drop them off. The staff does all sorts of activities with them. They take the kids to go see shows, all sorts of things, so you can enjoy alone time on the cruise or whatever. And then in the nighttime you pick up the kids, and same thing every day. So that's really good, because you're not gonna lose your kid. Like, you're on a ship, where's your kid gonna go? So you don't really have to worry. So I think it's great that they have things like that. So you don't really have to worry about, oh my gosh, I have a 5-year-old, like, I'm just gonna be chilling with my 5-year-old the whole time. No, send your 5-year-old to the little daycare for the 5-year-olds. Your kid's gonna have a blast, and then you're gonna have a blast because you're without your kid. Another good thing is joining rooms. So let's say you're a family of, 5 or 6, and you have kids ranging from like 3 to 15. So you and your husband can be in one room with the 3-year-old and the 5-year-old or whatever, but then let's say you have like a 12 and 14-year-old. You can get a room that joins each other, and your teenagers can stay in the other room. Just leave the door open or whatever, or close it for some privacy or whatever. But that way you have access to your kids' room and they have access to your room. But in a sense, you're technically still a little separate. And it's going to be cheaper than the like suites in order to accommodate all 6 of you. Because one inside stateroom accommodates between 2 and 4 people. So unless you want to be very squished with 6 people in there and 6 people worth of luggage in there, it's not going to be fun. However, to ensure that you have a joining room, you do need to actually call them. Now, if you book through a third party, call the third party. You don't have to directly call the actual cruise line. So however you're working with, just give them a call and let them know you want joining rooms. And then let's see. Number 12, how much spending money do we bring? So everything on board is connected to your credit card, which is connected to your SeaPass card, and that's how you pay for everything on the ship. We usually don't worry about how much we spend on the ship because we prep for these things and we pay them off and whatever the heck, and we honestly don't really spend that much. We maybe spend about $300 on the ship. That's with our alcoholic beverages or t-shirts we want and things like that. So $300, that's nothing. Now when it comes to spending money out in the port, because you can't use your SeaPass out in the port, except for some, so ports that are specific to that cruise line, there's some places that will take the SeaPass card. So, but for the sake of this, we usually take $100 per person per port. So unless we've been to that port already, then we can get away with having less money because we've already done the shopping there before. So if we're stopping at 3 places, that's $600 because there's only 2 of us, which really isn't that much. If you have kids, you don't need $100 per kid. I'd maybe do $100 per 2 kids, just because if they want a cool little trinket thing, or maybe they want a sweater or something like that, you just kind of have to figure out how much do you think you're going to spend. I don't think we've ever, no, we did go over once to where we did use our debit card because originally we kind of just get little souvenirs like for ourselves, but when we were in Mexico they had these really cool color changing t-shirts that when you go in the sun it activates it and it changes the color. So we ended up getting one for like everybody in the family. So we did go over for that, but you can bring your debit card. There are a lot of places in the port, the bigger stores and stuff that do accept debit and credit card. Let's see. Number 13, excursions. Is it worth it and how much does it cost? Again, it depends. I think excursions are worth it as long as it's something that you can't really do here in the US or you don't have access to do here, or something that is really specific to the location you're going to. If you're just gonna go to the water park or snorkeling, but you're not snorkeling in like the Great Reef or like with sharks and stingrays, then some of those I don't think are worth it. But so for when the next time we go to Mexico, we're gonna go to Chichen Itza. Okay, you can't see that in the US, it's in Mexico. So that one was $150 a person. So that I think is worth it. It's an 8-hour excursion. It takes 2 hours to get there. You get about 2 hours to explore and run around. I think you get lunch. And then you have to come back. So when you think about all the traveling to get there, the lunch, the tour guide, all the traveling to come back, $150 is worth it for something you can't see anywhere else. So I think it depends, because some things range from $20 to hundreds of dollars, really depending on what it is that you're doing. Let's see. Ooh, number 14. Can you take food to your room? Yes. If you're in the buffet, just take it to your room. If you're at the Park Cafe or at Sorrento's, you get your pizza on the plate and just take it to your room. Eat it in your room. Like, you don't have to sit there and eat it. Even in like the main dining hall, you can get there and then ask them for it like to go, and they give you like a little lid to put on it, and you just take it to your room. Like, yeah, you can take it. Number 15, is it accessible? Yes, it is. So I know some cruise lines have like accessible rooms, but they also have elevators. If you're out in an island and you need like the wheelchair for the sand, like they have those. There's very accommodating for that. Let's see. Number 16, does it get boring? No. I mean, sometimes there may be, you know, like I said, like a gap in between activities that you want to do, but there's always activities going on. So you could be like, oh, you know, we didn't really care for this activity, but since we have 2 hours until our next activity, we can just go check it out. Or you can go look at the art, you can go to the casino, you can chill on the pool deck, you can go play ping pong, basketball, soccer, slide down the water slide. Like, there's so many things to do that, no, it doesn't get boring. I would say it actually gets a little tiring at times. Like, you'll be sitting there and it'll be like 6 o'clock and you're like, dang, like, our show isn't until 11 o'clock at night, and you're like tired already. You know, so no, it does not get boring. Number 17, how crowded is it? It can be crowded, but honestly, it's really not that bad. I think my biggest issue is like people who, okay, so the buffet and the pool deck, for instance, my biggest like peeve, I guess you could say, is when people are done eating at the buffet and they just like chill there. Like, they need to get up so that the table can be freed for everybody else who's looking for a table. Same with the pool deck, is a lot of people save their seat, but then like they go and eat, or they go and do something else, or they're sitting in the pool and it's like all the chairs are taken but nobody is in the chair. And technically they're not even allowed to save seats. There is a sign that actually says your stuff will be taken from the seat and held at the desk, but you know, nobody does that. So that's my biggest issue. But honestly, like, you're never really like waiting in line for things, or you're never really, I would say the times it gets the most crowded is on the Royal Promenade on the bigger royal ships. Because they'll have like entertainment in there and everybody's trying to fit into this little space. So for those, I recommend you get there 2 hours ahead of time, because that's when people start sitting down, was 2 hours ahead of time. Or just don't do it. 18, why cruise over a regular vacation? Well, cruising is convenient. Everything's in one place. You don't have to really do much. You get to see more than one destination, unless you choose like the Bermuda one that only went to Bermuda, but I think it's cheaper than going, like, let's say you want to fly to Italy. That plane ticket's already more expensive than like any cruise I've been on. So I just think it's more affordable. It's more fun to me in a sense, just because I don't have to really plan anything. Everything's already planned out. Obviously if you want an excursion, but you just click it, it tells you the time and the place, and that's it. So it's a lot less work. Number 19, how to find reasonably priced cruises and who do we book through. So far I've booked through cheapcruises.com, I've booked directly through the cruise line, and I've booked through Cruises It, which can also be called Cruise One. It's the same company or whatever, but honestly the best thing to do if you're trying to find a reasonably priced cruise is to just keep looking. Look far in advance, watch out for deals. You can call the cruise lines. Sometimes if you call, you can work something out. But honestly, I think the cruise is already reasonably priced, but they have a lot of deals that happen. So their free at sea is one of my favorites. That's when you get to choose, if you want the beverage package or specialty dining, because a beverage package for me and my husband for a 7-day cruise is going to be about $900. For the 11-day cruise we're doing in January, it's going to be $1,500 for the ultimate beverage package. So that includes your coffee, your soda, your alcoholic drinks. However, me and my husband don't drink enough alcohol, soda, and coffee to justify spending $900 to $1,500 on a beverage package. Like I told you, with all of our drinks, t-shirts, everything we purchased on the cruise, we literally spent $300. So you could say maybe we spent $150 on drinks. Why would I pay $900 when I only drink $150 worth of alcohol? I would be better off not buying the package. So we usually look out for the free at sea, so for the 11-day cruise with my dad, we chose the beverage package, and I chose a specialty dining for my dad and stepmom since they don't drink. Now, sometimes there's also sales where the first guest is normal price, then the second guest is 50% off, when really they're not necessarily 50% off. I think the only time that's worked for us was when your third and fourth guest was free. Because then we split the cost 3 ways, and that was the cruise that cost us $750 a person. However, we did have to share the room with his sister. So if you don't want to share the room and you want separate rooms, it's going to cost a little more, but nothing too crazy. You also have to look at what time of year you're going. If you go during peak season, maybe it'll be a little cheaper. But if you go during the off season, maybe it'll be a little expensive, or vice versa. So it really depends. You just really have to keep an eye on it. Number 20, how to budget and finding places that aren't pricey. Honestly, budgeting, you can book your cruise up to 2 years in advance, and you can make payments on it. So if your cruise is going to cost you $1,500 for you, your husband, and your 3-year-old, because kids usually sail for free, when they have the promo. So $1,500 and you have 2 years to pay it off, it's $50 a month. That's nothing. And you can pay whatever you want. So let's say there's a month where you can put $300 towards it, and then there's a month where you can't put anything. That's fine. It doesn't matter as long as it's paid off by that final due date, which is usually about, 30 days prior to cruising. So when you book it, they'll tell you let's say your cruise is October 2021. They'll be all right, your final payment is due September 3rd of 2021. So that's plenty of time to put money aside in order to pay it off. So I definitely recommend doing that. Also, they have some promos where it's only $50 deposit to put down on the cruise. If you have to do it without the $50 deposit, it's about $500 that you need to put down that day when you book it. Finding places that aren't pricey, I would say for a cruise that doesn't really matter. Obviously some places you go to, what you buy there might be a little more expensive than some other destinations you go to, but I feel like finding places that aren't pricey is mainly if you're going to stay there for a long time. You don't really have to worry about that with cruising, so I wouldn't worry too much. But obviously places that are in the, leave in the US and return to the US, they're not going to be that expensive as if you like go to Australia and then you go like New Zealand and things like that, or you go to Italy, Greece, and all of that might be more expensive than Mexico and the Bahamas, So that was number 20. So our bonus question, because people always ask me, what do I record the videos with? Well, one, it's what I'm recording with right now, and it is what we use for this vlog that I'm going to be uploading soon. And the Harmony of the Seas vlog is the GoPro Hero 7, and it's the black one. So I know they just came out with the 8. That thing looks, nice. If you can fork over the money for that, I would get that thing. And some people, they vlog with some high-tech stuff, and I'm like, yeah, I don't know. One, it's so expensive, which I get their quality is like absolutely fantastic. But I'm not like some crazy YouTuber with hundreds of thousands of followers or millions of subscribers. If I ever get to that point, then obviously I would upgrade what I'm using. But right now, my little GoPro works perfectly fine. Also, I will be using the GoPro when we go to Tahiti. And I'll be using the GoPro in January as well. So we will vlog Tahiti, so look out for that at some point. However, okay, so this is how it works. Tahiti, we leave December 23rd, and we get home January 8th. We leave for the cruise January 10th, and we get back January 22nd. So you probably will not see the Tahiti vlog until after that cruise, because there's no way I'm going to spend my like 1.5 days back home editing vlogs when I have so much other things to do in that one day before I leave for the cruise. And I'm definitely not going to edit vlogs on the cruise. So after January 22nd, so sadly probably sometime in February, is when you will see our Tahiti vlog from December to January. And then after that, still probably sometime in February, that's when you will see our January cruise vlog. That one is 11 days. So it's going to take us obviously a few more days to edit than the 7-day ones. But definitely look out for those. I'll keep you guys updated when we go to Tahiti and when we start editing those videos and things like that. If you follow my Instagram, I usually, post on the story while I still have service and things like that. And in Tahiti, we have Wi-Fi at all the hotels. So, I can post things on my Instagram story. So if you want to see some things while we're in Tahiti and while we're on that cruise in January, then you need to follow my Instagram. If you don't want to wait for these vlogs to come out, then just follow my Instagram. It'll be in the description, so that way you can see some things like while we're actually doing it. And when I post pictures and things like that, I usually post the photos and stuff before the vlogs even come out. So again, if you just want to see some things ahead of time and you just can't wait for the vlog or whatever, then check out my Instagram. Thank you for watching. I know it was a very long video, but the description will also have what times during the video that I answered these questions. So that way if you have a specific question you want answered, you can just skip around the video to find it. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe so that way you can see the vlog when it comes out, and comment any other questions you have. And share the video if you think somebody will find this useful. Thank you. Oh man.